Hello, EKN Nation, and welcome to a new episode of the EKN Hot Seat. I am David Cole, EKN Managing Editor, and it's been a little bit since we've had our Hot Seat podcast here, but we're getting back into it for 2026. And our first guest is Gus Lawrence, the Rolison Performance Group driver and a driver from the UK. Gus, thank you for joining us.
Hi, how you doing? It's been a pleasure.
Doing well. We've gotten into basically the first third of the year is gone now. Into the month of May. It's a busy time of the year, especially here in the United States, as the weather's starting to somewhat warm up. A lot of the racetracks are opening up. You obviously were here for the SKUSA Winter Series and the opening round of the Supercar 2SA Pro Tour. First off, how do you feel the 2026 season has started off for you?
Yeah, so the three races, or the four races I've done, has been the two at Speed Sports for the Winter Series, and then the back-to-back at Tucson. I thought the Speed Sports was an interesting track. I always got on really well with like new tyres and stuff like that, or like topping happy hour or qualifying. But definitely by the final, you could see the results. I could never materialise a win. I could get a third, but yeah, so I wouldn't say I gelled very well with that track on the older tyres, but on new tyres, no problem. But and then going into Tucson, definitely, clicked with it straight away. It was quite a nice track. The grip level was good. It was nice to drive. I think at the start of the first day on the Saturday, I had a bit of an incident at the start. Obviously, very interesting now with the lack of the nose cone penalty. So started second and then didn't quite get around the first corner very well. So, but had a good drive back to fourth, which I inherited P3 after Oliver Hodgson had a technical. So that was a good comeback with a little bit of luck on my side there.
Yeah.
And then the Sunday was just a solid day, really. It was just, again, a good race. Like I started the pre-final fifth. Again, didn't have the best of starts in the pre-final. Went back and then I actually opted to start fifth. I didn't really. I had good pace. I could have moved forward, but I thought if I would have been fourth on the outside, again, losing out on points, but thinking of the long game to get a good start in the final.
Yeah.
And I got round the first corner quite safe and sound. I maybe fourth place. I gained one, and then I can't fault the race. It was a good race between us four Brits. Really, it was good to see and good to be a part of. And it was just again a competitive race. I'd say that Joe Turney's package was definitely quite strong in that heat and over the long 22 or 3 lap race. Something we need to think about for the next one. But no, it was good to be a part of.
Yeah, it's interesting because when was the last time you raced without the pushback bumper? Because back to how long?
9 years ago, I'd say, when I was in juniors, for example. Yeah, very long. Yeah.
So how was your first few races with that? Do you feel like Speed Sports was a little different than it was at Tucson?
I think once the racing gets in its rhythm, it's much of the same. It's people race relatively clean. It's obviously a little bit of bumping, but that's racing. But definitely the starts were different. There's a lot more confidence from people to push and shove, which reminded me straight away of how it used to be, and it showed definitely in terms of, if you watch some clips back, it showed, and people could make or break their race on the first corner, which I understand it's racing and we all love a little bit of that, but it's when you start, for my case, when you're starting second and you get turfed off, it's frustrating.
And I think that's something that they're obviously going to look at as the year goes on. Let's go back to the beginning. Tell us about when and where you began karting.
Well, I started when I was 7 or 8 years old, and my father bought me a kart off eBay. Actually, it was just like a Honda Cadet, which we raced. Well, we raced it a lot in England, and it's just like a generator engine strapped to a go-kart, and it started from there. But I had a long career. Like, I'm still racing now, and I'm 27. Racing with just my father, really. When I was maybe up until 16 years old, so just out of the back of a trailer, just doing club races and nothing too serious, really. Just whatever results we had was a touch, really, and just doing the best we can with what we could. And then definitely in my later years, we started to take it a bit more like serious. Obviously, Dad could show I could go around quite fast, and you had a few good results. So the X30 category really picked off in England, really took off. Sorry, the Rotax slowed down, and X30 picked up, and then essentially you could buy a brand new engine off the shelf and race it. And I think people liked that at that time of karting in this country. Right. Rotax thing was a little bit difficult to get a good package, but did that, and then had a few solid years in senior, like always at the front, like privateer really well, to then eventually get picked up by Paul Fletcher. I took Oliver Hodgson's spot, who is quite interesting to still race against him, and he's the next tier above me in terms of age. So next generation. So yeah, good to race against him. But yeah, took his spot, and definitely having racing in that situation with no expense spared definitely made the difference in my career. Obviously, racing against people who sort of had that before, and yeah, went on to have a good career, winning the British Championship 3 times and big one-off events in the UK to find myself racing in the on the American scene. So I've had a good run. It's been great.
Well, first off, let's start with that first kart. We know about the Cadet Honda that happens over. What was the first chassis that you guys actually had?
I think the first go-kart I had would have been a Biz kart, which is a Biz kart, which they make a lot of pro kart rental karts.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a kart they make for that type of category.
Yep.
Built like a tank, really, pretty solid and good to go around. But then the first racing kart I had would have been a Project One.
Okay.
And if you look back at the results for Honda Cadet, that was the kart Beyond. Made by a guy from called Gerard down in the south of England, Sittingbourne. So that was I've actually still got it. It's down my granddad's in the shed wall. Yeah, it's like a candy apple red. It's quite nice. Yeah, with gold.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've still got that, and that was where it all started, really.
What before you got that ride that you took over for Oliver? What was kind of your pinnacle or your most prized win or championship that you had up until that point?
I definitely had a few wins along the way. Never really materialised a championship at like a national level. But yeah, I finished 4th in the British Championship. And that was actually the years when all of the Rotax teams like Strawberry Racing, Dan Holland, all the premier teams in this country were still doing X30 because Rotax had never bounced back yet. So it was difficult. Like you'd arrive for the first round of the British Championship and have 60, 70 drivers. So it's a solid grid. So I had a good season there. And then that year we raced at the World Finals in Le Mans. And I qualified pole overall out of it was 7 groups or something crazy. There was 130 entries. And then I think, after a tough final, I think I finished 6th from the back. I had a bit of a crash in the pre-final and then came back to 6th. But no, it was a good. I know it wasn't a trophy, but if you look at the actual performance, it was a good race. Yeah. From that period on, I understood Oliver was sorting out his deal to come to America. And I was quite fortunate to get the phone call to take his place.
So was Oliver one of those drivers that you kind of looked up to, or were there other drivers that you kind of were like, I want to be like them as you were making your way up the karting ranks?
Oh no, like definitely when those years of the which we was racing, there was a few drivers like Oliver Hodgson, Mark Litchfield, which was the driver before Oliver.
Yep.
And then like Danny Curl, he actually, solid names. You put those guys anywhere and you go around at the front. So it's definitely people, if you can beat them, it's definitely like you've had a good day and you're beating respectable people. So you've definitely earned it. Yeah.
So kind of highlight for us what it's like to win 3 straight British championships, because it's got to be not easy. You kind of look at like a Ryan Norberg here, who's won many SKUSA Pro Tour championships. What does it take to win a British championship? Because you talked about some of the big names that have been in UK karting. Is it just work ethic, or is it luck? What was it that helped you get those 3 straight titles?
No, definitely. For the 3 years I was racing against groups of different people. So you had to approach things differently with their strengths and weaknesses. And one year, most people was on like an OTK chassis, and you'd come back the next year and then there was a driver on a Mad Croc. I'm not sure. I've not seen one of those in America. But yeah, they have their strengths and weaknesses. So you find some tracks they're good at, and then some you have to really take advantage of where you're stronger at. So it's about points being prizes. So you need to, even if you don't win the final, but you manage to win 2 or 3 of the heat races, that's just as beneficial. So sometimes we all want to win the trophy, but if you might come second, you come second. But over the course of a year, as a whole, the points are more valuable. So you just got to play it smart, really. And then if you do have an incident or a nose cone or a bit of damage, you just need to keep going to seal the deal. So even if you finished 15th place, that extra point might mean difference at the end of the season. So
we pause this show for a quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. Klotz Lubricants has a long history in the sport of karting, with over 60 years of developing products for the motorsports industry. A new product introduced by Klotz combines its technology with the knowledge and experience of one of the sport's legends, Lynn Haddock. The new Haddock Special Formula 2-stroke engine oil is blended at the Klotz facility in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The blend uses a formula that Lynn developed and refined throughout years of racetrack testing. The 2-stroke engine oil is designed specifically for karting engines, using a proprietary blend of synthetic and castor-based oils. The synthetic-based oils provide wear protection at low temperatures, and the castor-based oils provide wear protection at high temperatures and high RPMs. The fluid is anodized to mitigate corrosion and deposit formation and can be mixed with either gasoline or methanol. The new Haddock Special Formula from Klotz is available now through the KlotzLube.com website and will be coming to many kart shops across the country in the near future. Klotz and the Haddock Special Formula, bringing together decades of experience to the karting industry. Winning takes top quality equipment, flawless preparation, experienced coaching, and passion. And at Team GFC, we live our passion. Developed by American karting champion Gary Carlton, the GFC chassis has become one of the newest brands to reach the top of the podium in North America. GFC has garnered victories and championships at all levels of the sport since its debut at the end of 2018. Shifter car drivers are at the front of the field in the GT14 frame, with the SS31 a consistent contender in tag and 100cc competition. Team GFC has arrive and drive packages available for all categories, including the mini and micro classes utilizing the GFC RR5 cadet chassis. These young pilots have the opportunity to be part of the Team GFC Young Driver Development Program. Learn from one of the best American karters with 28 years racing at the highest levels in the sport, offering personalized training on and off the track. Follow GFC Karting on Facebook and Instagram, or click over to gfckarting.com to learn more about joining Team GFC. GFC, live your passion. In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry, and with over 30 years of combined karting experience, we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at franklinkart.com, where all of our products are just a mouse click away. We continue to add to our growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, the ceramic product line, Driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, Smoker Performance sprockets, OTK products, AIM, MG tires, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. Be sure to stop by the Franklin trailer during the United States Pro Kart Series events as the official trackside vendor. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. Thank you for listening to the EKN Radio Network. We now join the show already in progress.
Which of the three was kind of your favorite, or the one you look back and is like, that was the one?
Well, the 2 years ago, I raced against a driver called Calais Atkins. I think the connection's gone a little bit there.
I meant sorry. Yeah. In the three championships that you had there in the UK, which one of those three was probably your favorite to win?
Oh, for me, well, the first was when you win your first, it's like, it's unbelievable. I think I had a good season that year. I actually won the Kart Masters as well. So the big one-off race we do at PFI. So that was a solid year. Like, we won it all. And when you win the first, it's everything you dream of, to be British karting champion. To have that title is pretty impressive, especially in the senior class, the premier class. It's something definitely it's good to have. But then when you're racing the second year, and you've got to still keep the momentum and prove yourself, and it's just as difficult. You just have to keep all the things you learnt last year, apply it this year. Although it's different drivers and different characteristics, you need to keep the focus.
So before you came here to the United States, what was kind of your opinion and thoughts on karting here in this country?
No, I've wanted to race in America for a while, and I said to myself before I stop racing, I'd like to do a race in America, even if it's a one-off race or a SKUSA or the Vegas. Just do a race and see what it's like. But with the media, definitely from you guys, has made it like quite accessible for us, because over here you'd never see it. Like, so with the media, you can have a good watch and see all the interviews, and it. For a driver's perspective, it definitely gives you like a good profile to advertise yourself if your results can help with that. So definitely something to be. I've always wanted to try and get involved in, and again with the help of you guys, it's definitely, you guys put on such a good event. It's something we need to definitely adopt slightly over here. I feel like we're catching up, but did
you kind of seek advice from any of the drivers from the UK that have been over or currently here in the US, or was it just you called up Rolison, was like, hey, I want to come race? How did all of that piece together?
Yeah, it was through a friend of Martin Stone, through his mechanic. Really, they organised that for me. So again, it was a very fortunate position to be in, and. My first race was at GoPro Motorplex, or Trackhouse, and it was a good track to come to. It was like good facilities. You can't moan with that. It obviously hosts the IME Grand National, so it's a track we all race at. And it difficult. Like in the practice, I wasn't fast initially. I thought it would be a little bit closer, but I guess it's just like you got. It's like me racing at PFI. Like, I've raced there all my life.
Yeah.
And for Paulie Massimino's sake, that's his back garden. So. It's you've got to really step up, and then I think I actually put pole position on my first attempt. So that was my first interview with you, actually. So it was definitely a good. It stands out as my first attempt in America. It was a good one.
So talk about the dynamics there working with Rolison. You said obviously working with Martin Stone got you introduced to that, and so you kind of knew a couple of people. Obviously, Ryan Norberg was a big name when you came in last year with Rolison Performance Group. Talk about kind of the dynamics of going there for that first time and kind of how it progressed throughout the rest of 2025.
No, like when you arrive and you see Ryan Norberg, he's got a massive media presence, so you have a lot of respect for him, and to be next to him in the tent for your first attempt, for your first time, it's to be next to he's a massive name in karting, especially the American karting. He's huge. He's the man. So it's it was a bit daunting. And obviously when you go out in the testing and you're missing a bit of time, it's not. I never doubt myself. I just needed to put the practice in. And sometimes I find where I go to a new track and you just need to have a good night's sleep and come back again tomorrow, and you're a bit fresh and you're a bit more natural. So I think that was the case. And then again, just sticking to what I know, because I feel like it's it's the same category as what I race in America, as what I've always raced in over in England. So it's not different, and same tyres. It's also had to trust my process of working and what I believe I needed in the chassis, and I got there in the end, like for the happy hour in qualifying. So again, it's just trusting what you know, and then obviously sometimes different people, like within the team, they bring different things to the equation which you might not have tried before, which work at that circuit. So no, it was as a team effort. It was good to be a part of.
So yeah, we've talked about how many different British drivers have come over and raced here. Do you have some experience racing at home against Joe Turney, Caden McQueen, and even now Sean Butcher, who's coming over here to race in the US this year?
To be honest, I've raced against Caden the most out of all those guys, because he was big on the X30 scene when we was all racing over the past few years. Obviously, Sean's big in the Rotax with KR Sport. And then Joe on the CIK scene. The only time I raced against Joe was at the 2 races we did at PFI for the Champions of the Future and the World Championship. So no, it was but that racing is very different to what we do. So it's hard to correlate. But again, we all have our pros and cons, but like for example, when we raced at Tucson, there's us 4 at the front on 3 different manufacturers. So it shows if you can chip away at it, you can definitely have a good result between the factory kart, the OCK, or the Kart Republic. So it's you just have to do the best job on the day.
So we talked about coming over and racing with Rolison Performance Group. How is that relationship with Mike? We know Mike can be a unique person and have quite unique discussions I've had race weekends. Talk about kind of that dynamic, because here he's one of those guys that have been racing for decades now, and actually raced at the Rotax Grand Finals back. I don't want to age him, but back in 2006. So he's kind of been and seen it all. What has been kind of your dynamic with Mike himself in terms of race weekends and preparing for races coming up?
Oh, he's perfectly straight with me, and whatever he says goes. It's like when the whole organising process is easy. You just talk to him and do this, do that. It's done. And then when we're at the race weekend, I wouldn't say he massively gets involved. He's happy to do what he's doing. He lets us get on with it, and as long as we're pulling our weight with helping the juniors and doing the teaching for the other guys in the tent. Obviously, being a part of the Pro X30, they look up to you, so you need to pull your weight and teach them the ways. He's happy as long as it's all running smoothly. There's no problem at all. It's all good.
We talked about some of the racetracks that you've been here in the US. Do you find anything similar here in the US compared to the UK or in Europe other places that you've been? Do you find, is there any similarity, or do you feel like racing over there is a little bit different, more so than racing over here?
I'd say the racecraft and aggression is a little bit toned down in the United States compared to what we're used to over at home. But track-wise, I'd say like going into the next track in Country Club, that for me is similar to tracks we have in England. Like the layout's the layout, but with the bumps and the curbs, and it's similar. And then you might get to like, I'd say it crosses over a lot. There's a lot of similarities. You just have to be careful. I always find the tyres and stuff, they behave differently in your climate to what we have over in England, where it's a lot cooler, and it must be what the tarmac's made of. When you look at them, they always look different over your way. So again, we very rarely race in 40-degree heat. Maybe one day a year we might have a heat wave. Like I've been out today and it's been 15 Celsius. So I'm not sure what that is over in Fahrenheit, but it's cold. Yeah, I've not driven in the States that cool really. Like you go to Tucson and it's it's crazy, like really dry, but hot, and we never do that. And then definitely the MG tyre or the Vinco is it behaves differently, so you have to drive it differently especially for the longer races. So and after qualifying 2 heats and a long final, they are slightly worn out, so it's difficult. And definitely you do see some pros and cons between some chassis. Like from what I see, I feel like the Kart Republic is very good for the longer races, and that is like definitely at Tucson in that heat, the OTK seemed to struggle on the last couple laps, but you just have to configure it to do that. So I feel like going into the next one, you have to keep that in the back of your mind to for the longer races, really.
Yeah, and you probably feel a little bit more comfortable. You like MCC, you did well there before. Let's lay it out there. Like, this is a hot seat. What's been your favorite racetrack here in the US over your year?
MCC.
Okay.
I enjoy driving it. I feel the grip level's good. It's a bit bumpy, some tight, twisty, fast corners. Yeah, I enjoy driving that straight away. Yeah, I quite like Newcastle. That's good, fast and flowing. Yeah. And then obviously for the first time doing Las Vegas, that was an experience. Like,
yeah,
it's almost like going indoor rental karting, but on a proper go-kart, and it's tunnel vision. When you're going down that straight for the first time, it's an experience. So you have to just it's definitely a different driving style on that type of tarmac where there's no grip. So it's interesting.
What would you say is your least favorite track that you've been to so far here in the US?
Least favorite, to be honest, it's really hard to say it, but probably Trackhouse GoPro.
Yeah,
I feel like it would be a very different track if you could stay on the track.
Yeah,
but
track limits. Yeah,
track limits is very vast there. It's like nothing I've ever done before, and then it showed on my first test day there. I was going off the track, but not like they were, and then on the data, it was crazy the difference. So I do think if they could enforce that a little bit, it would be a very different track and a lot harder, because you'd have to brake and turn properly, and I think it would add a big dynamic to the track. Whereas at the minute, it's the track's a track, but you don't stay on it, unfortunately. And it's like if you went round turn one and you had to stay on the track, it'd be a very different corner and allow a lot more overtaking opportunity. I know you can overtake anyway, but be very different. I would like to see a race there where they do that. Just they do a special one-off race where they do that. It'd be great.
I think that's the majority of the karting community, is that they would like to see that racetrack get changed up to be, as you said, not using the rumble strips that they do have. Obviously, it's there for the rental karts, which is the biggest draw of that facility. But there's been talk about that year after year after year, and I unfortunately don't see that ever happening. But it would be nice if they could.
It's like turn 3 or turn 2 after the chicane. You go, unfortunately, you go more off the track than what the track is wide. So
correct.
It's like completely different. Yeah. And again, if you could stay on the track, it would be the whole dynamic. The sprocket would be different. It would be totally different track. No, it's just a fault. And because of that, I probably would say it's my least favourite. However, like the surface and the curbs, it's all immaculate. It's perfectly smooth. It's great. It's just, for me, that's what lets it down for me personally.
We'll get you a track limits shirt. We do make one of those. So
track limits. Yeah.
So you talked about the Supernats a little bit. Do you feel like when we kind of look at the UK tracks, they're very tight. They're very narrow. There's a lot of tires, a lot of things that kind of help separate the different divisions of the racetrack. Do you feel do you think that's not enough to prepare you for what temporary racing is at the SuperNationals, or is it because it's not a real racetrack that it throws a different mindset at you?
Yeah, Vegas is something else. Like, when we go to a track, we all will make a mistake and clip a curb or go a bit wide on, even touch the grass sometimes. There's no room for that in Las Vegas. Like, it's, if you turn in too early and clip the barrier, and your track rod or your steering column would bend and break, and it's like those walls don't move. Like, you think you'd bounce off it or you'd move it, But when they're, especially full of water as well, if it might rain overnight, like we saw this year, it poured. It didn't just rain; it hammered it down. It's definitely you're using all the track, but definitely when you take the exit and you see the barrier coming close to you in the corner of your eye, you clench up a little bit. So,
do you think there's nothing that really prepares you for it? Then it's just kind of you have to do it and experience it.
You have to do it and experience it. Like even going down the main straight for the first time, and you're going flat out, and the barrier is there. There's no white line to guide you. It's just a barrier. Then I believe we even saw that in the KZ. That is it, the Formula K driver.
Yes,
he was warming his tyres up and clipped the barrier, stuck, and it shows like it catches you out. It's especially obviously this year it was wet for the final day, so there was puddles everywhere and running through the first corner. So you make one mistake, you're going to crash, and it's do some damage definitely.
We pause this show for a quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. Is IndyCar your dream? If it is, for 2024 and beyond, the path from karting to IndyCar has gotten even clearer. It's time to look into the new USF Juniors program and the Tatis JR23. As a first step of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tires, the USF Junior Series will feature a 6-event, 13-race schedule to train racers for the move into the USF 2000 Championship presented by Continental Tires. 3 of the events in 2024 will run alongside IndyCar at Mid-Ohio, Road America, and Portland. The champion will win a scholarship worth over $263,000, and there's a total prize fund that will exceed $330,000. The series utilizes the state-of-the-art Tatis JR23 race car, which is a development version of the USF 22 used in USF 2000. It's the ideal entry point for career-minded karters moving into the car racing ladder. Safety is always front and center in the minds of the series promoters, and the new USF Juniors car also features the Halo, and races are supported by members of the AMR IndyCar safety team. If IndyCar is your goal, USF Juniors is the starting line. For more information, visit www.usfjuniors.com and follow USF Juniors on social media. A family focus with a desire to reach the top of the podium every weekend. That's what drives Prodigy Motorsports. Launched in 2020 by Chris and Alex Murray, Prodigy Motorsports provides its clients and customers with a fun, family-friendly, competitive experience. The Charlotte, North Carolina-based karting team and shop is an official dealer and team for the Best Kart brand. Best Kart enters 2026 with a 4-decade-long reputation for its craftsmanship and attention to detail in chassis design and construction. The brand showed well on the big stage at the end of 2025 and is ready for a full attack on the 2026 season. Prodigy Motorsports is set for competition at the United States Pro Kart Series and Stars Championship Series programs, in addition to continued support for its customers at the Trackhouse Motorplex Karting Challenge. Arrive and drive opportunities are available in all categories. Visit prodigy-motorsports.com to learn more about becoming part of the Prodigy Motorsports family in 2026. Wins at the sport's biggest races, as well as championships across all levels of karting, pack the resume for Nitro Kart. The Nitro Kart brand has made its statement as the best, fastest, and most reliable cadet chassis on the North American karting market. If you want to win in cadet, both in 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition, get a Nitro Kart and join the team. Team Nitro Kart will be at all major events, trackside with Ryan Perry Motorsport, the official race team. Owner Ryan Perry and his RPM operation carries the full selection of Nitro Kart chassis and parts, while also providing the same driver development focus as Nitro Kart owner Nick Tucker. You can also join the Team Nitro Kart race team at all major 4-cycle races this season. Led by longtime Nitro Kart tuner Cody Johnson, Team Nitro Kart will be at all the major Cup Karts North America events with arrive and drive opportunities available for all ages. Nitro Motorsports is a true karts-to-karts driver development program that is already gaining success after launching in 2022. Victories and championships in the Trans Am Series has highlighted the team's start, along with the success in the new GR Cup by Toyota. Current and former karters can take advantage of this unique ladder system with Nitro Kart and Nitro Motorsports. Visit Nitro Kart online and find them on social media. Nitro Kart, race one or chase one. Thank you for listening to the EKN Radio Network. We now join the show already in progress.
So kind of describe that week of SuperNationals 28 where, it was your first time there. You're with Rolison Performance Group. What were your thoughts day to day, and kind of talk about how you felt like your pace was throughout the week as it progressed towards Super Sunday?
It definitely improved. Like I definitely struggled with the chassis. Definitely started on the back foot, and then working towards the tire pressure and the sprocket. It drastically changed from the first day to the last day, and I think that's what really brought me back on the money. So, and then again, the same mentality as what I have with the championship. Just don't give up. So to start, I don't know where I started, maybe 12th or 13th. And then you showed by there was a photo, I believe, of kart, which was the whole straight behind. You just can't give up because as soon as they start defending, the race really slows down by a couple seconds a lap. And then you're only really 7 or 8 seconds behind. Although it's a long way, you're not that far behind in that respect. So, and over that long 25 lap race, you just got to keep chipping away. And it came to me in the end. And obviously, it was a little bit bumping and barging on the last lap, and obviously I inherited the win. But you have to take those. But it's it was a good race. It was an amazing race. Just to myself, you just got to keep going, and it kept coming, kept overtaking. Obviously, I think if you look at the lap time, everybody did the same lap time. I'm not sure what the second was, but it was all like a 0.7, I believe. It was everyone did the same. So it shows everyone had the capability to win. You just had to keep going over the long 25 lap race, and it worked out well for me. So,
I mean, you kind of approach? You said you started 12th or 13th, wherever it was. Do you approach that with every race that you go into? Is I have the ability to be up there. I just have to buy my time and make things happen that go in my favor. And is that how you kind of approach every race with that mentality?
For sure, at some tracks, it's definitely, if you're starting far back, it's unlikely to get there. But the nature of that race, where it's a one-off event, everybody wants to win those races. Unless someone breaks away and wins by quite a chunk, those races always slow down. That race is a very different style to a championship race. Like the championship races, everyone's a bit more follow and then overtake a little bit last minute, play the long game. Whereas in that type of race, everybody wants to lead the race. So when it's time to hit the white line and defend with a couple laps to go, you're the man in charge. So it's the race is a different style, and then that showed. Like they was defending with 10, 12 laps to go. And then when you're miles behind, you're rubbing your hands together because you can see it coming to you. You just have to keep chipping away. And then have a little bit of trust in people around you if they know you're that type of driver, to keep going forwards. So not follow, like no one don't need to follow, but think of what's coming rather than fighting for 10th place. You need to think ahead. So I think I've earned that trust with people, and it played out. Like definitely you get people that you work together and you get to the front. So it worked out well for me. So
looking back at it, what does that victory mean to you? Obviously it was a little bit, not the exact way you wanted to win it. No. Your name's in the record books. You come home as the SuperNationals winner. Looking back at it, what are kind of the emotions when you do think about that? And what was the feedback from all the fellow karters in the karting community in the UK after your victory? Oh, you could see after the race, it was crazy. Like the atmosphere, like it was unbelievable. So to go and do that, everyone talks about Vegas. People talk about the World Championship, this, that, but Vegas, everyone talks about it. It's crazy. So it's
to have that your name on it. Obviously, I've got the trophy over there, so it's cool to have, and it's good to be a part of. So, my phone, obviously with the time zone. So in Vegas, I'm 8 hours. When in America, 8 hours behind what it would be in England. So when we were still at the track taking the tent down at midnight, 1 a.m., everybody's waking up and seeing it. Yeah, my phone, it was crazy. I couldn't keep up with how many messages I was getting. It was, yeah. So, no, it had a good impact. And I think that was definitely the biggest achievement, I'd say, to win that. It's been fantastic. And then obviously to have that on your CV for the rest of your life is good to have. So it means a lot.
Is there any pressure going into, I know it's a few months away, but looking ahead, is there any pressure going into this year's event, or do you just look at it, hey, it's a one-off, anything can happen? I mean, look what I did. Yeah,
anything can happen. There's no pressure. Obviously, I understand no one's won it twice or 2 in a row. No. So it's there for a reason. So if you can make that happen, unbelievable. You'll be the first in history. And there's no pressure. You just need to see what track they provide and then deal with it when you get there and see what the conditions were dealt with. So
do you think mentally, now that you've done a temporary circuit, you'll have a little bit more confidence once practice opens up?
Yeah, I understand. Especially it's in the same location. So the grip level will be the same. It's the same tarmac. It's not changed. So it's, you know what to expect. You know, also a little bit of like mental data in terms of handling. Definitely things like how I ran the chassis there. I've never run it at any other track.
Right.
So, and that's why I feel like I got there so late, because I was trying stuff that I knew usually worked, didn't work. So I now know that, and then I could almost reset to that same setup. I'd like to think for, even if the layout's different, the handling will still handle the same because it's going to have fast and slow corners. So it all correlates somewhere, definitely.
You were doing a lot of coaching now. Is that something you can take to your students as a kind of a way to approach race weekends? Is you don't have to be fast right away. You know, work yourself into it. Is that something you can use as a coaching tool?
Yeah, when I coach people, I don't like to just let them follow me around. And if I am faster than them, it's like, yeah, you follow me and you did the same lap time, okay, but you need to learn and understand what I believe is the correct way to do it, and then when you're on your own, you can apply the same logic and fix it yourself. So I always strive to teach that. So when I teach like the young junior drivers now, it's not just telling them you need to be there. You need to say they're doing their line. You need to. Sometimes they do it fine, but they don't know how. You just need to explain to them why they're doing it and why it's working for them. And then on a corner, it's not. Teach them the right way and then make them understand the difference. So I think that is definitely a good point for their development. It's not just showing them, you need to understand why. So, I definitely teach that. And definitely, like I said to them, I said, sometimes I come here and I'm not the fastest, but you just have to keep working away at it and then understand where you can improve for next time.
So what is the future for Gus Lawrence? What's the future for the next year or so? And where do you see yourself maybe 5 years down the road?
No, well, this year we're competing in the SKUSA with RPG. So I'm hoping to finish that off and hopefully get to Las Vegas. That'll be great. Recently at home, I've been getting into a little bit of KZ driving. I've never done that before. The KZ is quite different to your normal style of karting, so it's definitely something quite intriguing to learn. I'm hoping to do a few races on that this year. There's some races at the new track we've got at Silverstone.
Yeah,
it's a CIK facility. It's great, so try and get a little bit of that in, and then see where it takes me. But 5 years from now, it's hard to say. I still would even if I'm not racing, still be involved in the sport, whether that's teaching or some form of management. I would definitely enjoy doing that because the drivers I teach, although I'm not driving, when they have a result, like I was teaching 2 senior drivers last week, like young senior drivers just into senior at the British Championship, and they had heat wins and podiums, and one of the young drivers finished the podium after the final. I get just the same buzz as myself driving. So it's rewarding for me, and the theory I teach of how I drive, it seems to be working. So it's just as rewarding. So definitely try and keep that going, and see where it takes me.
Well, excellent. Thank you, Gus, for joining us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks there in Ohio for the Pro Tour and the rest of the season here in the U.S. So thanks again.
Lovely. Thank you very much.